also the wrong one. There we are. Huh.
Court is now in session for... How do I say that?
Mashi Tobai, Your Honor, the Pixie Officer Arpeggio.
Right, this trial, court is in session.
The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution is A-OK, Herr Judge.
Very well, Prosecutor Gavin.
Ah, my opening statement, yeah?
No, actually, there was something else I wanted to ask you about.
Yes?
Say you're going to visit someone in the hospital with an incurable disease. What do you say to them? Eh? I mean, you wouldn't say get well soon, right? You'd only be kicking them when they're down.
What are you talking about?
Actually, I'm going to visit someone who is terminally ill. Right after this trial. The Chief Justice's son.
Oh. The Chief Justice?
His son is afflicted with a most terrible disease. He doesn't have long, it seems.
Ah.
But I thought I'd go pay him a visit. I thought saying something moving might be the order of the day.
I don't grown-ups ever just say what's on their mind instead of pretending. He's looking at me with something like disgust. Hey, what are you looking at me like that for?
In any case, I'm a bit busy today, so let's wrap this up quickly. Prosecutor Gavin, your opening statement briefly.
You're in luck, Herr Judge. I believe you'll be going on your hospital visit sooner than you think. First to review the victim in this case. Romain Letousse, age 35. The global manager for Diva songstress La Miroir. The cause of death: blood loss due to being shot by a large caliber revolver. This report has all the details.
The court accepts this into evidence. 45 caliber, that's quite large, isn't it? A direct hit from that could knock a man off his feet.
However, the bullet struck him in the shoulder. The damage to the body was slight. Death was not immediate. Sadly, his blood loss was such that he could not be saved.
I suppose the victim's condition could have been much worse, considering.
Two shots were fired. One shot missed, the other penetrated and passed through the victim's shoulder. Both bullets were found in the wall at the scene. Observe the diagram. Aha. This is where the bullets hit.
I see. The court accepts this evidence. If we're talking about a 45 caliber revolver, we must assume that the killer was adept at the weapon's use.
Really? Yeah, apparently weapons that size have a powerful kickback. If, say, the judge tried to fire one, it'd break every bone in his body.
The defense will take more care in choosing examples.
As I was saying, the victim was shot backstage, in the dressing room. This dressing room has only one entrance, this door.
That does seem to be the case, yes.
However, there were witnesses who heard gunshots. He's talking about you and Emma, huh? Yet when the witnesses entered the room, it was empty, save for the victim's body, of course.
But that's impossible!
Exactly! This murder was impossible! For all but one person.
One person?
That is, of course, the defendant, Mashi Tobai!
Only this defendant could have committed the crime? But how?
It's quite simple. The circumstances of the crime seem to make it clear.
Very well. I assume you have testimony to back up this claim. Let the witness please take the stand.
Your name and profession, please. Emma Sky. I'm a detective for the police department. I was on security detail at the concert forum that night. Emma seems tired somehow.
Security at the concert, you say?
Some security I was, I couldn't even stop a murder.
Now don't blame yourself, things like this happen. I've made even bigger mistakes in my career, you know.
I'm sure that makes her feel much better. If you want to hear about these bigger... I want to hear about these bigger mistakes.
In any case, because you were on security detail, the crime was quickly discovered, and we were able to identify the killer. You may give the court your testimony if you would. Describe the circumstances of that day, and your discovery of the crime, please.
All right. Murderous circumstances. The night of the murder, I was on security backstage at Prosecutor Gavin's request. Only people involved with the concert or in some way were allowed backstage. At the beginning of the third set, I heard shots. I went into the room filled with blaring rock music and found the body. I examined the scene and determined that only the defendant could have done it. Really? You did?
It was lucky that a detective was the first on the scene.
But that door was the only way out of the room, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
And I don't get it. How can they say that Machi did it?
Looks like we need a bit more information. Very well. The defendants may begin the cross-examination.
Okay, the bracelet is inactive. The night of the murder, I was on security backstage. Really, are you?
The night of the murder was the night of the concert, yes?
That's right. What was the detective doing on security detail, might I ask?
If it was only a concert?
My thoughts exactly. But orders are orders, even when they come from rock gods.
Prosecutor Gavin? Yes, allow me to explain. I smelled something that day, you might say. The stench of conspiracy. That day at the concert hall...
Conspiracy?
Well, isn't it obvious? My keys! That whole morning, no, the whole day was ruined! And this has all been because someone stole my keys. I think I heard you.
It seems as though I was mistaken. There's no one here. Except for me, of course.
I couldn't drive my hawk to the show. I couldn't open my guitar case.
There he goes again. Isn't it possible he simply misplaced them?
Misplaced them? Misplaced items don't just wander into a murder victim's hands on their own. What's this? Prosecutor Gavin, if your keys were in the victim's hand, that makes you a prime suspect. My God. Love, slow acting and new. A Troquinin is waiting for you.
He's singing for something. Does everything with this guy have to be so over the top?
The killing happened in the middle of my concert. I was, like a sailor, adrift on a sea of sound. Anyway, I didn't want anything else stolen. So I put the detective with the most time on their hands on the task. I see, I can accept that.
Well, I can't. What do you mean, time on your hands?
Please, the testimony.
Hold it! We were let in, though. I didn't know about that. I certainly didn't invite you.
I gave the Fräulein special permission to be there. I want to see her again.
Oh boy, did you hear that? We're officially involved now. Gee, great. Some other hangers-on tried to get backstage, but I drove them off.
So no other outsiders were there then?
And then... Hold it! I believe we were having a chat when we heard the shots. You were the one chatting. I was eating snackoos.
Ah, hey, no snacking in court!
And you're sure the shots came from La Mira's room? Yes, absolutely. Hey, I'm the one being cross-examined here. Here, this'll keep you quiet. So, thanks. So, how about it, Emma? You were right. There, hard to be mistaken about that.
Please, either talk or eat, not both at the same time!
Right, so after that, me and Mr. Lawyer there opened the dressing room door. I went into the room filled with blaring rock music and found the body. Hold it! Rock? Blaring, yes.
When you say rock, are you referring perhaps to this rock and roll music that's so popular these days?
That's right. When we went into the dressing room, music was blaring over the speaker on the wall. A pipe sound from the stage into the backstage through the speakers. That way people in the back can hear them when they're supposed to be on stage. Did it have to be so loud? You don't listen to the governors with your ears. You feel it with your entire body and soul! I always have the backstage monitors at full volume. When we walked in the room, the band was playing Guilty Love, I believe, making it easy to determine the time of the crime.
If you could hear that music playing,
then everyone on stage for that song has an alibi, including myself. Anyway, I closed off the scene and started my investigation. Determined that only the defendant could have done it. Hold it! How could you know something like that? As I said, it was clear from the circumstances. Listen, we know there was only one exit from the room, that door. The small window only opened a tiny crack, and I was standing in front of that door. So how could the killer have fled the scene? There's only one possibility, the air vent.
Ah!
Objection! But that air vent was too small. Who could possibly... Exactly. There's certainly no way you could get through, nor me. The only one who could fit through was a child. A child? Remember, access to those rooms was limited. Only those involved with a concert were allowed. And all of the people involved with the concert, only one is small enough to be considered a child.
The defendant?
The pixie of the arpeggio flitted up towards the sky and disappeared from the scene of the crime. But that's just conjecture! Oh, there was no other way out of that room. You were there. You should know beforehand. And there's another vital piece of evidence. Evidence? What? Marks are found on the air vent grill. Traces that it had recently been opened. Wait, what? And something else was found quite clearly. The defendant, Machi Tobai's fingerprints. What? What?
Order, order, order!
That air vent was the only way out of the room. The defendant's fingerprints were found on the grill. Well, Herr Forehead, what fairy tale does this suggest to you? Only one could pass through that vent, that doorway to heaven. And that one is our pixie. Why are you looking at me, Apollo? Hey, I was out whooping it up in the audience. But this was his decisive evidence.
Quite decisive indeed. I believe that's enough of that.
What?
The prosecution has a rather convincing case. The only way in and out of the crime scene was watched, making the defendant the only one who could possibly leave the scene. Simple and decisive. I believe we've heard enough to determine our victim.
Not victim. Our... Did I just miss that? I just said victim and I skipped. To reach our verdict, probably.
Even if I wasn't in a hurry to make a hospital visit.
I'm sure the Chief Justice will appreciate the gesture. Unfortunately, we have no direct witnesses. Fortunately, the criminal left decisive evidence for us. That will have to be enough. Oh, it can't be over already!
Very well. Very well. I believe this trial is finished. If the defense has no contradicting evidence...
The prosecution has presented our proof, clear and plain. If you have a contradicting evidence...
It better be clear and plain.
Ah! Apollo, they've got us on the ropes already! You better come up with something quick!
I know. Think, what can get us out of this? We need evidence, or a witness that can prove Mashi was innocent beyond a doubt. Without that...
Mr. Justice, you have contradicting proof that can overturn the prosecution's case? If you do, you better tell us about it now.
This is it, and so soon. If I mess this one up, it's all over. The court wants contradicting proof. I know. Call a witness. Prosecutor Gavin, you claim that there were no witnesses to this crime. Are you absolutely sure? Absolutely. I swear it on my career as a prosecutor. And on my million-seller hit song, Atrokunin My Love.
There he goes again.
That's too bad. Because there was a witness.
Ho, really now? But how did you come to possess knowledge the prosecution clearly does not?
Because I am the only one in the world who knows this! I swear! What's going on? I just talked to him and now... He's alive! Mr. Latouche, can you hear me? Cold. So cold. Witness. You're cold? Don't worry. You're going to be fine. Help is on the way. Can't see. Hang in there, Mr. Latouche. Tell me, who was the witness? The witness is Siren.
What? The victim said this before he died?
Perhaps he did, and perhaps he did not.
What do you mean by that?
All we know is that herefore it says he said. It's no testimony, especially since it comes from the defense attorney himself.
Objection! But it's the truth! He said it! I even told you about it! But apparently you ignored me completely!
It's my policy to fully investigate everything I deem relevant. Clearly this rookie lawyer thinks he can tell me how to do my job.
That's enough. Mr. Justice, we need clear contradictory proof from you. This witness of yours, unknown to the prosecution. I hope you're right. Failure carries a stiff penalty.
Perhaps a stiffer penalty than usual is called for.
Yeah, there's no backing out now!
Let's hear the name of your witness, Mr. Justice.
The Siren.
Lamirar?
Recall Mr. Latouche's last words. The witness is Siren.
The Siren? Aha! He meant the Siren!
That's right, the Siren of the ballad, Lamirar. Lamirar was only on the stage for the second set. And she had access to the backstage area. She could have been a witness!
I see. Well, Prosecutor Gavin.
My claim still stands. There was no witness to this crime.
Very well. Let's hear it from the horse's mouth then, shall we? We'll now take a break from Detective Emma Sky's cross-examination. Please show Lamirar to the witness stand.
Lamirar would say nothing the night of the murder. Not today, though. Today we'll drag that story out of her no matter what it is. It is my distinct honor to welcome the Siren of the ballad to our courtroom. You are too kind.
Ah, you can speak English?
Yes, I can. Though I'm not very good, there's much I do not know.
You speak so well. Have you spent time here before?
Actually, I do not know how I came by my knowledge of your language, nor why I studied it. What does she mean she doesn't know? I too thought to call her as a witness, but I did not. I had a reason, of course.
What's that?
Lamirar suffers from amnesia.
Amnesia?
Lamirar is not my true name, yet I remember nothing of the time before I was given it. Nothing of the time before I started singing on stage.
Whoa, she's even more mysterious than I thought.
As Laureate singer Lamirar, she lives a good life. There are little difficulties for her thanks to her success. Yet, I did not wish to subject her to unnecessary stress.
I see. I care surprisingly little about people's past. You have nothing to fear in this court, Lamira.
Thank you. If there is something I do not understand, I am being called as a witness? What might I say? No one will tell me anything of what happened. Lamira, let me be frank. I did not want to ask you up here to testify. Yet, that young gentleman with the wide forehead over there was adamant that you stand.
Oh my! Congratulations, Apollo, you're the bad guy.
Well, now that you're here, please give us your testimony. If nothing else, the sound of your voice is welcome. Tell us what you saw the night of the crime.
What I saw. I saw what I saw nothing. That night, I was invited to sing on stage, and this I did. I did not return backstage after the second set. Then I was led by the police to Mr. Gavin's dressing room, and told to wait there. That was where I learned that something had happened. I wasn't told the details.
I must say, you sound wonderful just testifying.
I hope he was too distracted to hear what she actually said. I hope he was too distracted to hear any... I hope she was too Wow. I hope he was too distracted to hear what she was actually saying. There you have it. She saw nothing that night. Now you can only pray that the defense has the sense to admit defeat, and refrain from detaining her here longer than need be.
Wow, you just got better, Apollo. Way to go.
Grr. Very well, Mr. Justice. Keep it short and sweet.
Lamira wouldn't talk to me the night of the crime. She must know something, and I've got to find out what. Okay. I saw nothing. Very true.
But you must have seen something. Mr. Latouche named you.
Mr. Latouche? How can I tell you what I don't know?
Lamira, he said you were a witness with his dying words.
I do not know what he meant to say, but that night... It was a great concert. You helped me sing? Thank you. I was hoping to get an autograph later, actually. Of course.
Mr. Justice, this is a cross-examination. You're out of line. If anyone deserves an autograph here, it's me. Only one of my gavel would be nice.
Here, Judge.
What is this?
It's my autograph. Now keep this trial moving.
What? Oh, my grandchild would be so happy.
Apparently his grandson is a big fan. Let us continue, shall we? If you would, Lamira, tell us what you did after your stellar performance.
Hold it! You did not return backstage once? Where were you going then? Oh, where were you then? What were you doing?
I was cleaning up on stage. There are many things I must do for a performance other than simply sing.
And was Machi with you at the time?
Unfortunately, I do not know where he was.
So much for an alibi from Machi.
Then I was led by the police to Mr. Gavin's dressing room and told to wait there.
With Machi, correct? How is he then?
He seemed as he always does, so I believe he was shocked by the news of Mr. Latouche's death. Yet, he is not the type to show much emotion. Yes, he is given the police no end of the headaches. He answers most questions with silence, and those glinting frames speak nothing. But the questioning hasn't gotten very far. We sat there waiting.
Hold it! How was the incident explained to you?
I was told nothing in detail, only that Mr. Latouche died.
Of course, investigation requires some security.
But Mr. Latouche was my manager. I wanted to know more. I should have been told.
Was Masha and I were beside ourselves with concern.
Allow me to apologize. But please understand. Keeping you in the dark was as painful for me as it was for you.
Yes, I understand. Think, what doesn't ring true about her testimony? It's hard to imagine Lamura flying. She might not be lying, but she's hiding something. What wouldn't she tell me the night of the murder?
Okay, let's see if there's a contradiction. She saw nothing. That night I was invited to sing on stage, and this I did. I did not return backstage after the second set. Okay.
Maybe this is it? Objection! I'm pretty sure that we only went there after the second set. So we couldn't have known whether or not that brooch was left there before or after the song. I'm sorry, Lamira, but I'm having trouble believing you. You remember this brooch, do you not?
Why, that's Lamira's. She was wearing it for her song.
Okay. Care to add that to the testimony, Prosecutor Gavin?
The what?
Whoa. Chill out, game. I'm dropping frames. Yeah, everything should be fine again. This brooch was found after the murder took place. Wow. Take it easy, game. Like, fuck. There's not much to do but just have a picture and play music. Why are you lagging? At the very scene of the crime!
What?
Lamira, how did your brooch get backstage if you did not go there yourself? And, as Prosecutor Gavin has just told us, you had been wearing it during your performance that night!
What is the meaning of this? Lamira, please explain.
Lamira?
She says English is quite difficult.
That trick's not going to work here!
Your forehead may be large, but you are a lawyer, truly. But you have missed one important fact.
What now?
In fact, at the time of the incident, I went backstage, but only for a moment.
What?
Think back to the moment of the crime. You know whereof I speak.
Is she really saying all that? What's she talking about, Apollo? Right when the incident occurred. Ah! Is she talking about that?
What's this room for me? I have to call for backup.
Right, understood. You want me to make sure no one comes in, right? Mr. Latouche, can you hear me?
Oh, so cold. Witness.
Oh, come on, again. We've had this twice before. No, 3 times before. Siren, yeah. Hey, Emma, what's that? Who's there?
What's wrong?
Emma, did you see anyone just now?
Huh? No.
I could have sworn I heard the door close.
I looked into the room. Just a glance, mind you.
So this is when your brooch dropped?
That explains that.
It does. There's...
Whoa. It does. There's no other time I could have dropped it.
But that's ridiculous! You only looked in for an instant, but you dropped your brooch?
Her forehead. She has raised a possibility. The only thing that you can counter that. The only thing that can counter that is evidence.
So she looked in at the crime scene.
Actually, I intended to go into the dressing room. I knew nothing of what had happened, of course. But the moment I opened the door, I heard a horrible voice.
Forward shouting, "Who's there?" No doubt. A horrible voice indeed.
Ah! I closed the door immediately.
Well, that explains the brooch. Let's return to your testimony.
That's too convenient. She's hiding something. Let me write. You did look into the room, though, right? Yes. Testify as to what you saw. Very well. So it was only the briefest of glimpses.
Okay. Okay. Probably it's just here.
My performance was finished.
Here again. Is something in her eyes? I went backstage for just a moment. Here it again. I'm gonna look at her hands. There's only one hand I can see. I went backstage for just a moment. Not seeing anything. Here again. Something about her mouth, maybe? Not seeing anything. Stop. Maybe it's not here. I saw nothing. The late Mr. Latouche's body was behind a wall. Let's try it here. I saw nothing. You can't see her hands down there. Something else that is going to tell me something? Maybe it's her mouth? Oh, I saw it. Yeah. She starts mumbling. Gotcha! The late Mr. Latouche's body, you say? Yes. You know something more about Mr. Latouche's death than you are saying. What? I could see you trying not to remember. But the effort made you swallow. You can't fool my eyes. It is true. It was so terrible after all. Why did Mr. Latouche have to be shot? One moment, Lamoureux.
Yes? What was that you just said? Why did Mr. Latouche have to be shot? Yes. She was hiding something. I knew it! Lemmirar, I'm afraid you haven't realized it, but your words just now contradict your testimony. Eh? How could that be? Take this. Lemmirar contradicted her own testimony, and I have the evidence to prove it. It was the diagram. She couldn't see it. Take that! If I do not misunderstand the meaning of contradictions, it is you who contradict, Mr. Justice. Huh? Your evidence is meaningless. Ah! Wrong evidence! Gotta think this over. What did she say again? Why did Mr. Latouche have to be shot? Well, the problem is, she told me she couldn't see it. That's a problem. Death due to a loss of blood from a gunshot wound. Established time of death between 9 and 9:30. She doesn't know, that's it. Tell me, Lemmirar. How did you know he had been shot? Well, I... Immediately following the incident, a gag order was placed on the scene. This is the document proving that. In your testimony, you told the court, no one told me anything about the incident. Furthermore, you testified that you had seen nothing. Yet you knew that Mr. Latouche had been shot. How could you have known? Bjork!
Lemmirar, you aren't hiding something from this court, I hope?
That sweet song of hers was sounding a little too sweet. And now I remember. Please, allow me to add to my testimony. Of course. All we want to know is the truth. She looks kind of pale, huh? She saw something. I know it. Even the victim said so. Bullet holes in the wall, and knew Mr. Latouche had been shot. Hold it! Only a glimpse, yet you knew they were bullet holes? Yes, I recognized them immediately. I have seen bullet holes before, you know. You have traveled the world. You have traveled the world as a singer. You must have sung in places far more dangerous than our country. I go wherever my voice is needed. Those places are many these days. That's really cool. I hope I get to travel like Lemmirar someday. I plan on recording my next album overseas. Their studios have a different sound, you know. Maybe I should go on a Chords of Steel tour, too. I'm fine! I'm Apollo Justice and I'm fine! I saw bullet holes in the wall and knew Mr. Latouche had been shot. Let's see. Ah, again. She can't see it because of the door. She only got a glimpse. Objection! Lemmirar, they call you the siren of the ballad, but lies are hardly becoming of such a creature.
A put-down worthy of our prosecutor, Mr. Justice.
Such put-downs are hardly becoming of you, Apollo.
Stop polishing your forehead and start polishing your character, yeah?
Come on, can I be cool for once? Observe the diagram! Lemmirar, when you looked in from the door for just a moment, correct? Yes, that is so. There were bullet holes in the room, yes. But they were in the wall, the door is on.
You see, assuming you merely glanced into the room, you couldn't have seen those bullet holes. Yerk!
Lammy Rar,
Yes.
I'm afraid the defense has raised a good point. It appears you have been holding back something.
And I must tell you what it is that I saw.
Yes, the happenings in this trial are being recorded, and I'm certain it will be on the news in Virginia. You understand your reputation is at stake. It falls to you to avoid tarnishing it.
Personally speaking, I still believe that cross-examining her will yield us absolutely nothing. But she knew how Mr. Latouche died, and he named her as a witness. You must have seen something, Lamirar.
Very well. Lamirar, please continue your testimony.
Very well, I shall. Wait. Okay. I'm gonna save it here. I'm gonna have to go study. There's a lot to do for me today. So, thank you all so much for watching, and see you guys next time.